Hello, everyone. It's just 2G again. I had one last lingering question that came in pretty late, but I love the questions and I will answer them until they stop coming. So, this question is from none other than Rory Gilmore, 34. Woo! Oh, before I answer your question, Rory, I just want to say I want to say something to Naya. I haven't forgotten about your question about the songs for the generations. Um, I already know what I want to do. I'm not going to do a video for those. I think I'm going to do them as blog posts. That way I can post YouTube videos so everybody can hear the songs. I thought about singing them, but no, y'all ain't ready for that. No, I'm a bit shy when it comes to my singing. So, but yeah, I will do those as blog posts. That way I can post the lyrics and the YouTube videos. That way I don't get in trouble with YouTube for copyright crap. So I haven't forgot. So you guys just expect those pretty soon, right? Okay, Rory's question. Hi, Jess. Hi. I have a question for you for the after party. All right. At what point in the story did you know that you were going to end the entire? It's early in the morning. Can't We start over. At what point in the story did you know that you were going to end the entire legacy the way you did with the meatball surprise? I love that meatball surprise. Um, let's see. Um, when did I? It's been a while, actually. So I knew way back, like in the middle of the generation, like generation 4 or 5, that I did not want a nice, happy, pretty, and they all lived happily ever after. At least that was my plan. Um, as a matter of fact, it was January of last year. That was when I was thinking about discovering Juliana. That's when I started formulating ideas for that. And then in February, I started thinking about fish. And somewhere between there, some kind of way, I started thinking about the end of the legacy. And yeah, I think it was actually talk on the forums. I think someone, or maybe that other site we were on, simswriters.com. I think it was like a topic of discussion. We were talking about ways to end legacies because maybe somebody's legacy had ended or whatever. And I don't know. Um, that's when I decided, okay, I don't know what I'm doing, but whatever it is, it's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be wrapped in a nice little bow, you know. Um, that summer, yeah, that summer, so let's say like 9 months ago, I got a few ideas together because I, okay, I'm going to tell you all my crazy ideas I had. So, I the first idea I had was to make the whole thing a dream. I was going to have like the last scene, um, well, of course, I didn't know the heir was going to be Jonathan, but I was going to have the Generation 9 heir, lose the money and all that, blah 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 blah, and or something, because I don't even think I had that idea yet, but something bad was going to happen, and then the next chapter was going to be Xavier as a teenager, still in his mom's house. This would have been like the prelude before she kicked him out for not going to college or whatever. I was going to have him wake up and be like, "Mom, I want to go to college," or something like that. But I was like, nah, that would just burn people up if I made the whole thing just like nothing, just threw the whole legacy away. Um, the other idea I had was to make the whole thing a social experiment. So, like, have my sim self come into the picture and knock on the Pruett's door in the last chapter, like dressed in a suit or something, and just explain to them what we've been doing and how we've been watching them. And that would have been crazy and a throwaway as well. But that would have been kind of cool though, because like even though even though the whole thing kind of would have been for nothing, like at least the Pruitts still would have been real people and not figments of Xavier's imagination, Um, so that was like my second strongest idea. Okay, and then the third idea I had was, to some kind of way make the last heir a screw up. Sorry, other computer to go to sleep here. Um, make the Generation 9 heir a little bit of a screw up and kind of ruin everything for the family, and have them end in a not so pretty way. I didn't know what not so pretty was at the time, but I was like, yeah, I think this is going to be the one. So I was at my sister's apartment one night. We were hanging out, and she doesn't read my stories, but she knows about them. Um, my sister is an avid reader, and but I think reading sim stories is kind of beneath her. Anyway, so she was asking me if I was done with the legacy yet, and I told her no, but I had ideas for how I wanted to end them. And so my sister is drama everything. Everything has to be dramatic and like rough and just bam in your face. So she came up with all these crazy ideas, right? And I was like, no, I'm not gonna have so and so die. And I mean, she just wanted to like blow the whole thing up. I was like, this is a Sims story. I mean, like I know I have certain elements of realness in there, but for the most part, the Pruitts are Sims. They know they're Sims. Their world exists within the realm of the Sims for the most part. And so anyway, but she did give me some pretty good ideas, and I really, really, really liked them. So pretty much what you saw came from her idea, but I had to change a bit because, like I said, the Pruitts are Sims, and her ideas were just a little bit too real for me. Well, I mean, actually, I loved her idea. I just thought that you guys to go from them being Sims and all of a sudden have all this realness crammed in at the end all at once, I felt it might have been a bit weird and a bit jarring for you and almost unbelievable because, it was just too much. So she wanted, whoever Meatball was going to be, the villain. Um, she did want him to be a distant relative who wanted to come and burn the place down at the end. Um, but she wanted like his mother to be a maid in the house. It's kind of like a spy. And actually, do I still have those notes? I can read it to you. I think I do. Okay. Yeah. All right. End of Generation 9, son of Thaddeus. I didn't know what his name was going to be at the time because I didn't even know Meatball at the time, I don't think. Um, son of Thaddeus becomes the financial advisor to the Pruetts, but he is siphoning money and cooking books for revenge. He doesn't want the money, he just wants to be recognized as a Pruett. Um, So he was going to cook the books through having Jonathan invest in a piece of real estate. That country club that Jonathan had his bachelor party in. The name of that lot is called Songbird Country Club. It's really nice. You guys should go check it out on the gallery. Um, I was going to have. I was going to turn it into like a well, actually, no, I wasn't. In the story, Jonathan was going to buy that place. Well, not buy. Well, yeah, he was going to invest a lot of money into it, and that's how Meatball was going to get a hold of a lot of Jonathan's money. Not all of it, but some of it. And I was going to have Jonathan and Skyla and their kids, I guess, start going to the country club because they invest their money in, and then one day their membership was going to be revoked because they hadn't paid, and Jonathan was going to be like, "I own this place. How can my membership be revoked or whatever?" So that was going to take the place of him coming home and having his electricity off and all that scene. Um, Pruitt's put full trust in him, and he slowly gains control of all of the money. Oh yeah, the contract thing, right? So because the villain was going to be their financial advisor, um, of course, him and Jonathan were going to grow up together and be best friends, just like you saw Meatball and Jonathan do. So I was going to have it be like a gradual thing because I don't think he would have wanted to um, kind of use their friendship like that at first. So, like he wasn't just going to come out and say, "Hey, let me be your estate manager or whatever." So, this guy would slowly introduce, like, "Oh, well, you guys should invest your money in this. I have this business, blah 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 blah," and then he would do that. "Oh, well, you guys should get into blah 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 blah," and then they would do that. And, like he would slowly take control over the estate. So he was going to sign a contract with Meatball. Um, and of course, he wasn't going to read it, just like, Jonathan didn't know what he was doing when he gave Meatball power of attorney over the estate. Okay, and then, so he signed this contract. Then the first sign of trouble was going to be a letter that came in the mail from the government saying that they owe X amount of dollars in back taxes or something. um, so Jonathan calls Meatball, and Meatball says he would handle it. Nothing to worry about it. Maybe, you know, tax document in this letter got crossed up in the mail because I sent it. Blah blah blah. You know. Okay, then the second thing was the membership being revoked at the country club for non-payment, 3 months. Meatball said he would take care of it. And then the third thing, because things always happen in threes. The third thing was going to be the utilities getting cut off first. Um, Jonathan would call him. He wouldn't answer. They try to check into a hotel, but their credit card got denied. So, I kind of kept that, but, did the whole traveling thing. He called Meatball. He wouldn't answer. He tried to get cash from an ATM, insufficient funds. Then he goes to Meatball's house. Blah, blah, blah. You know the story. I'm just reading how I revised all this. So cool. So, see, this is why you write stuff down, folks, so you can have it when you need it. So yeah, like I said, I liked all of that, but it was just a little bit too much realness, and even that was kind of I don't have the original piece of paper that I wrote down, but what I just read to you was even a revised version of that. So there was a lot of stuff going on. But, for a while, I was going to go with exactly that because I didn't have anything else. Um, so that was early in the summer. And then late in the summer, I actually traveled to go visit another sister who lives near a rose and bloom. So we met, got together, talked about our stories. It was so fun. So no, that's not true. That's not true. That's not true. I I had been teasing her about the end of the legacy. Um, she knew a lot about the story and all the stuff that was going to happen, but because she knew so much and I love surprises, I want everybody to love surprises like I do. So, like, I wanted to keep something from her so she could have a nice surprise when the story ended. So, I didn't tell her what the end of the story was. So, but I needed help because, like I said, I thought the scenario was a bit too real and not simish enough. And yeah, I needed a second opinion. So I told her what was going to happen. I didn't tell her who and how. Like I said, Meatball wasn't the guy at the time, but I didn't tell her how Meatball was going to be related because I wanted that to be the surprise for her. Um, So I told her that a distant relative was going to come up and try and sabotage Pruetts or whatever. So she gave me some ideas, and I'm her idea was to make Jonathan kind of irresponsible and not really care. I mean, not that he didn't care about the legacy, but he was just an irresponsible kind of guy. He didn't pay attention. And she said to make him marry someone who was kind of demanding and kind of materialistic and wanted all this fancy stuff. And of course, because he's so in love with her, he'd do it. um, and so instead of the whole thing with the contracts and the letters from the government and investing in real estate and all that, um, what did she say? Oh, I think I still have it in this book. Hold on. Let me find that page again. I was just reading that. What happened to it? Can't find the page. Oh, here we go. Make Jonathan be lazy about his responsibilities. That will create this irresponsible persona. He wants to be the heir, but he doesn't want to deal with the responsibility. That kind of sounds like Owen, really. He just wants to spend money and have fun. Yep. Oh, but the part I really wanted to tell you about is not, it's no longer here. Well, anyway, I think I was still, even with that scenario, I think I was still going to, I was still going to do the whole real estate thing because I hadn't come up with another solution for that yet. So, so she was going to want to redo the whole house. And Jonathan, of course, would have wanted to have kids early because he's an heir, and that's what you're supposed to do. But she wouldn't want to have kids until the nursery was finished. So that was going to be the last thing that was going to get done. Um, so I kind of kept that in there too, but in a different way. So um, the way they were going to find out that Meatball had screwed them was, like when the builder came to talk about the plans for the nursery or whatever, like they would have wanted half the money up front or something, and the check bounced or whatever, and blah 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 blah. So that was fine, and I was going to go with that. So I created Skyla's father in Cass. For some reason, I didn't want to create her from scratch. I wanted to create her parent first and then see what she was going to come out like. So her father was a randomly generated sim. Like I pressed the dice a couple times and I liked the way he looked. And so I played with genetics. I spun the dice a few times. I'm sorry. And I got her. I think I changed just a few things about her. I mean, just like minor tweaks. But so she was born from her father, and her face. She was so cute, and she looked so sweet to me. I don't know what it was. Maybe it was her eyes. I don't know, but she just looked so sweet, and I was like, she can't be that way. There, there was no way on earth I can write her to be like this nasty, materialistic, shallow kind of girl. And I was like, nah, this story is changing right here, right now. And like, boom, I got everything I needed just by looking at her. So I was like, you know what? No. Jonathan, okay, yeah, he's kind of been irresponsible in the past, but Skyla is going to like not change him, but kind of make him change his ways a little bit. And she will play a part in him messing up, but she won't be the reason like the other woman would have. So I was like, I don't. She was just so sweet, and I was like, no, I can't make her be like that. So, because I had her and her father, I was like, okay, they're going to be broke, and I gave her the mansion baron aspiration, and I gave her the gloomy and the perfectionist trait. So I said, they would all meet in school, and he wouldn't have known her because she was homeschooled for a while, but then of course her mom died, and she's a loner. Well, her persona is loner-ish. Not that she actually had that trait, so she kind of stayed out of the limelight. That's why he didn't know her. And she's always wanted to live in this big fancy house because she grew up in this dump trailer her whole life. And Jonathan was going to be so taken by her, and he was. Like I told you guys in the other video, he really, really, really was just like speechless. um, yeah, and he was going to be so in love with her, he would do any and everything to make her happy. And so, that's when he got the idea that she needed to have the house the way that she wanted to. I mean, she didn't really want to do that renovation, but he kind of made her do it. But then I was like, okay, the renovation isn't going to be enough to have Jonathan have a need for somebody like Meatball to come into his life that way. So I needed something else. So I was like, okay, well, what if her father, like I needed it to be like deep and emotional and like felt. So that's when I got the idea for Oliver. No, that's their last name. What's his name? Eugene. For Eugene being sick all the time, because I wanted to incorporate Skyla's gloomy trait, into the story to kind of make Jonathan, just feel really, really, really deeply about her. Um, that's how we got all those depressed chapters, because she's the only gloomy sim I've had that was really gloomy almost all the time. It was really sad, actually. So, how did I make Eugene sick? So I have a mod. A lot of you guys use it. Enable debug cheats. So there's a sickness. You can tap into the sickness system. So every now and then I just turn it on, and he'd have spots or something, or he'd get bloaty head. So he was sick literally all the time. you know. So yeah. So this video is so long already. To make that long story short, because you guys already read it all, like I wanted his love for Skyla to be so great that he would just not sacrifice everything, because he didn't know he was going to have to sacrifice everything, but that he would pour all of his energy and everything into her, and like I wanted him to feel like he didn't have any other choice but to take care of his wife and make her better. And so that would create a need for him to have somebody run his life. So that's how that version of the story that you read came out. And of course, so only the people who go to the forums know this. So my plan, because remember I said I didn't want a nice, pretty, cute ending. I wanted it to be kind of bittersweet. So the chapter with the lilies was supposed to be the last chapter. I don't know if you felt like it was kind of closing when you read it, because that's how I wanted it to be, because I wanted it to be the last chapter. But Maya is a girl. So you guys should have seen me when Maya was born. I was like, no. I mean, of course, like, I didn't want to wish her away, but I was like, I mean, I was on Origin with Oren Sims at the time, and I was totally freaking out. I actually considered like quitting the game and starting at my last save to see if, Skylar had the baby again, it will be a boy. I mean, I was wrecked. I was so wrecked. I mean, it's one thing when things in the game happen that kind of change your plans. That's fine. I actually love when things like that happen. But like when you have it planned out and it has to happen a certain way, that just messes with my mind. But so yeah, that's why we had to have the other chapter, because this legacy is a patriarchy, and I needed a proper heir, so I had to keep playing until Benjamin and Adrian came along, and of course I wasn't expecting two of them. So yeah, the chapters with the chapter with the lilies was supposed to be the last chapter, and it was going to be hard and emotional, because of the previous chapter when Meatball had told him everything, and but that last line, well, I don't know if it's the last line, but the part where he was like, it's been done before, we can rebuild or whatever. Like I wanted that to be like the last, kind of like end on an inspirational note, so you guys would think that things would be okay in time. That was going to be the only pretty thing I wanted to end. So, okay, so I took almost half an hour trying to answer the first part of your question, Rory. So, Meatball surprise. When did I know I wanted to use Meatball? I didn't. What was it, like January, I think? You don't visit my thread much, Rory, but one day you did. And I don't remember why. And you said something like, wouldn't it be cool if Meatball could be in your story or something? No. You what? How did this go? I don't know. But you said something about Meatball, and I replied in a joking way saying, "Oh, would it be cool if Meatball was in the Pruetts?" And I thought about it because at the time, I was scouring through the Townie database trying to see which friend of Jonathan or Juliet or Janessa, one of those teens, trying to see if they had a friend I could use to be this villain. And I had picked out a guy, but I mean, I don't know him. And so I was like, well, what if I made Meatball the guy? That would be kind of cool because Tony is evil and mean, and well, he was a teen in my game, so when he aged up, he got the family oriented trait, which was so serendipitous for me. Um, yeah, so I mean, it was pretty much a random thing how I decided for Meatball to be in the story. So okay, the only hesitation I had with putting him in was that so many people already knew him, and I knew that the minute you guys saw him, everyone would be suspicious, and then my cover would be blown. And I was like, ugh, so much for having a not so happy ending. But I mean, true, like you guys wouldn't know who he really was or where he came from, but you would know he would be bad news. But um, I didn't count everyone, but I was trying to weigh. I was like, well, how many people actually do know Meatball, and how many people actually don't? I have a lot of readers who aren't in the forums at all. Um, so I was like, well, I think there's actually more people who don't know Meatball than actually do know Meatball. So for the people who do, they can have a nice little, tongue in cheek type thing. It's like, hey, I know something you guys don't know. And then the people who don't know them, they'll get the whole surprise. So, yeah. If you hadn't come on my thread that day, Rory, we would not have had Meatball. We wouldn't have had the Meatball surprise. So thanks for stopping by, because you really set the stage and changed the game for the Pruett legacy. So congratulations. Oh, all right, this is the last question, and it's just as hard as it was last time. I don't wanna stop talking about the Pruitts, but I need to. So thank you all so much for listening to me all these hours. 2.5 hours worth of video you've watched so far, and there's still blog posts for you to read. Um, I have really, 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 really enjoyed you guys reading all these months, 17 months and 5 days, and uh, watching me ramble on about my Pruitts. So you guys enjoy whatever you have going on right now, and have a good day. I don't know what week it'll be when this video actually gets posted, but happy Easter if that hasn't gone on yet. Happy Mother's Day, maybe. I don't know. All right, I'm going to stop now. Have a good day, guys.